Here's what I'm really concerned about. I'm really concerned that all these things are happening. Right now, this is the early 1930s, and the world doesn't have to go off the edge, right? It could choose to make a different decision, but nobody's paying attention to it. And more importantly, in the 1930s, when this stuff was really being seeded, we had the Great Depression. Everybody in France, everybody in Europe still has their iPhones. All these kids are still eating. Everybody's still, in Greece, things are getting bad. But we have not had a global or a European depression, okay? Things are tough, and things are getting tougher here, but we have not hit anything like that. I am so afraid that when we hit that collapse of this bogus economy, that's when this stuff just rockets through. Because they're there. I said this a long time ago, and people really got upset at me, but it's true. Jesus and Hitler had one thing and only one thing in common. They could both look a man in the eye and say, "I'll feed you. Come follow me." When you have hunger, depression, the likes of which this generation's never seen, and these people are all positioned in the right place, and they say, forget about your Christmas tree in front of Notre Dame. I'll feed you. A lot of people will follow.
Glenn, I think the Russians are willing to make a move, even without the Great Depression. It's bad enough what they're doing in France. They're launching a whole TV channel called Russia Today, en français, in French. They're launching Russia Today in German. Why do you think they're doing that? Out of goodness of their hearts? No. They want to be a central player. They want to expand the sphere of influence, not just into Ukraine, but to France as well.
How stable is Putin?
Stable mentally or stable politically?
No, I know stable mentally, not so much. How is he politically? Let me rephrase this. I have a better question. What do you think is the most likely scenario of what's happening? We pass this and it all just kind of goes away and everything? No. What is it?
The good scenario from our point of view is the oil prices are low enough that Russia sort of sees the writing on the wall and understands that anything as expensive as a war will do Russia in and will do Putin in. Putin is a politician. And as any politician, the number one job is to stay in power. The whole idea of Ukrainian revolution, the Maidan, was, well, in Putin's thinking, if the U.S. is helping them and they say the U.S. is behind them, that's garbage. The U.S. was not behind the Ukrainian revolution. But we were sympathetic. We didn't give them much, but we were making
just
positive
as much
noises.
As we were there
so
for the
what's a big
Arab
difference
Spring.
between Russian Orthodox Ukrainians and Russian Orthodox Russians? Not a big difference. So they were very afraid that if in Georgia, in Ukraine, in Serbia, these people can go out in the city square, have a revolution, and take power and throw out the corrupt guys, it might happen in Russia. And they build this construct that we, the U.S., is behind Facebook and we're behind Twitter. And Putin actually said, oh, Facebook was created by the CIA as a tool of political control. So if you tell yourself stories like that, then, of course, you're willing to use power to stay in power.
Here's something that you told me that I did not know. Snowden comes over. He's a thermonuclear device.
Absolutely.
Right?
Snowden made more damage in the world of espionage than anyone since the Rosenbergs and the Stalin's nuclear spies. He changed the way the Russians are watching the development of cyber, of computer technologies. And I'm telling you, he reformatted the way Putin thinks about cyber. Putin was surprised that we can reach as deep as we can with our tools to see what's going on. And imagine that they threw out the computers in the top secret offices in the Kremlin, bought typewriters, and went back to the 20th century, to the typewriter technology.
Unbelievable.